The following is a verbatim reading of a publicly released government document. No commentary, interpretation, or analysis has been added. The text is read as written. United States District Court, Southern District of New York, United States of America, sealed superseding indictment, S.411 Quar, 205, AKH. Fers, Nicolás Maduro Moros, Diosdado Cabello Rondon, Ramón Rodríguez Chacín, Celia Adela Flores de Maduro, Nicolás Ernesto Maduro Guerra, a.k.a. Nicolasito, A.K. of the Prince, and Hector Rutherford Guerrero Flores, a.k.a. Nifio Guerrero, defendants. The grand jury charges. Introduction. 1. For over 25 years, leaders of Venezuela have abused their positions of public trust and corrupted once legitimate institutions to import tons of cocaine into the United States. 2. Nicolás Maduro Moros, the defendant, is at the forefront of that corruption and has partnered with his co-conspirators to use his illegally obtained authority and the institutions he corroded to transport thousands of tons of cocaine to the United States. Since his early days in Venezuelan government, Maduro Moros has tarnished every public office he has held. As a member of Venezuela's National Assembly, Maduro Moros moved loads of cocaine under the protection of Venezuelan law enforcement. As Venezuela's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Maduro Moros provided Venezuelan diplomatic passports to drug traffickers and facilitated diplomatic cover for planes used by money launderers to repatriate drug proceeds from Mexico to Venezuela. As Venezuela's president and now de facto ruler, Maduro Moros allows cocaine-fueled corruption to flourish for his own benefit, for the benefit of members of his ruling regime, and for the benefit of his family members. 3. Nicolás Maduro Moros, the defendant, now sits atop a corrupt, illegitimate government that, for decades, has leveraged government power to protect and promote illegal activity, including drug trafficking. That drug trafficking has enriched and entrenched Venezuela's political and military elite, including Minister of the Interior, Justice and Peace, Diosdado Cabello Rondon, the defendant, and former Minister of the Interior and Justice Ramón Rodríguez Chacín, the defendant. That massive-scale drug trafficking has also concentrated power and wealth in the hands of Maduro Moros's family, including his wife, the purported First Lady of Venezuela, Celia Adela Flores de Maduro, the defendant, and Maduro Moros's son, member of Venezuela's National Assembly, Nicolás Ernesto Maduro Guerra, a.k.a. Nicolasito, a.k.a. the Prince, the defendant. This cycle of narcotics-based corruption lines the pockets of Venezuelan officials and their families, while also benefiting violent narco-terrorists who operate with impunity on Venezuelan soil and who help produce, protect, and transport tons of cocaine to the United States. 4. At various times since, in or about 1999, Venezuelan officials, including Nicolás Maduro Moros, Diosdado Cabello Rondon, and Ramón Rodríguez Chacín, the defendants, have partnered with narco-terrorists from the Fuerzas Armadas Revolucionarias de Colombia, FARC, Ejército de Liberación Nacional, ELN, the Sinaloa Cartel, the Zetas, and Tren de Aragua, TDA, including TDA's leader, Hector Rutherford Guerrero Flores, ARK, Nifio Guerrero, the defendant. In sum, Maduro Moros and his co-conspirators have, for decades, partnered with some of the most violent and prolific drug traffickers and narco-terrorists in the world, and relied on corrupt officials throughout the region to distribute tons of cocaine to the United States. The defendants. 5. Nicolás Maduro Moros, the defendant, a Venezuelan citizen, was previously the president of Venezuela and is now, having remained in power despite losses in recent elections, the de facto but illegitimate ruler of the country. Maduro Moros also previously held a seat in Venezuela's National Assembly between in or about 2000 and in or about 2006, acted as the Venezuelan Minister of Foreign Affairs between in or about 2006 and in or about 2013, and acted as the Vice President of Venezuela in or about 2013. Maduro Moros succeeded to the Venezuelan presidency after former President Hugo Chavez died in or about 2013, and during Maduro Moros's own presidency continued to participate in cocaine trafficking with drug dealers and narco-terrorist groups. In or about 2018, Maduro Moros declared victory in a disputed and internationally condemned presidential election in Venezuela. In or about 2019, Venezuela's National Assembly invoked the Venezuelan Constitution and declared that Maduro Moros had usurped power and was not the legitimate president of Venezuela. Nonetheless, Maduro Moros continued to exercise the powers of the Venezuelan presidency, causing more than 50 countries, including the United States, to refuse to recognize Maduro Moros as Venezuela's head of state. In or about 2024, Venezuela held another presidential election that was again widely criticized by the international community, in which Maduro Moros declared himself the winner despite widespread condemnation. 6. Diosdado Cabello Rondon, the defendant, a Venezuelan citizen, is the Minister of the Interior, Justice and Peace, a member of the Venezuelan Armed Forces, and the Vice President of the ruling United Socialist Party of Venezuela. Cabello Rondon is widely recognized as one of the most powerful officials in Venezuela. Cabello Rondon previously acted as Chief of Staff to Chavez in or about 2001, Vice President of Venezuela in or about 2002, Governor of Venezuela's Miranda State between in or about 2004, and in or about 2008, and President of Venezuela's National Assembly between in or about 2012 and in or about 2016. Between in or about 2017 and in or about 2020, Cabello Rondon acted as a member and then President of Venezuela's National Constituent Assembly, following the illegitimate creation of the National Constituent Assembly, which siphoned the constitutional powers of Venezuela's National Assembly and further entrenched Maduro Moros's regime. Following the dissolution of the National Constituent Assembly in or about 2020, Cabello Rondon became a member of Venezuela's National Assembly between in or about 2021 and in or about 2024. 7. Ramon Rodriguez Chachin, the defendant, is a Venezuelan politician and former member of the armed forces who served as the Minister of the Interior and Justice between in or about 2002 and 2008. Between in or about 2012 and in or about 2017, Rodriguez Chachin was the governor of Venezuela's Guarico state. 8. Celia Adela Flores de Maduro, the defendant, is the de facto First Lady of Venezuela, having married Nicolás Maduro Moros, the defendant, in or about 2013. Flores de Maduro has had a long-standing political career. Flores de Maduro has acted as the President of the National Assembly, starting when Maduro Moros left that role to become Minister of Foreign Affairs, between in or about 2006 and in or about 2011, as the Attorney General of Venezuela between in or about 2012 and in or about 2013, and as a member of the National Constituent Assembly starting in or about 2017. 9. Nicolas Ernesto Maduro Guerra, a.k.a. Nicolasito, a.k.a. the Prince, the defendant, is the son of Nicolás Maduro Moros, the defendant, and a corrupt Venezuelan politician. Maduro Guerra entered politics after his father, Maduro Moros, became the president of Venezuela in or about 2013. At that time, Maduro Moros appointed Maduro Guerra the head of the Corps of Special Inspectors of the Presidency, a position which was created for Maduro Guerra. In or about 2017, Maduro Guerra entered Venezuela's National Constituent Assembly, and in or about January 2021, Maduro Guerra entered Venezuela's National Assembly, where he continues to hold office. 10. Hector Rustenford Guerrero Flores, a.k.a. Nifio Guerrero, the defendant, has, for over a decade, served as either the leader or co-leader of TDA, during which time TDA members and associates have engaged in a wide range of crimes, including extortions, kidnappings, murders, drug trafficking, gun trafficking, prostitution, sex trafficking, robberies, bank burglaries, and money laundering in Venezuela, the United States, and elsewhere.